Okay, just had some technical problems this morning. No, it's Bob.
Harvey's in Chicago.
Yeah, no, I know Harvey's away. It
Good
could be. I have two participants. Okay, I'm going to do our learning sponsors, and then we'll get today's stuff. Our learning sponsors, many friends of Stephen Vigdor, Zecha Nishmat Simcha Melech Ben Meir Leib Halevi. Friends of Marcy Kurtz, in memory of her great niece Leah Bracha. Isaac and Evelyn Blachor, in memory of his sister Chaya Rachel Bas Isser. The friends of Leonie Meiselman, Leah Sabra Bas Chanoch Zundel. 2 months of learning by the friends of Milton Meller in honor of his second bar mitzvah. A month of learning by Chaim and Phyllis Reese in memory of his father Mordechai ben Yom Tov Lipa. Isaac and Evelyn Blachor in memory of his mother Zissel Bas Chaim Yitzchak. Ron and Susan Podolsky in memory of his mother Freda Bas Shraga Feivel. Phyllis and Chaim Reese in memory of her father Pinchas ben Avraham. Rabbi Dr. Yankee and Malka Honig in memory of his sister Chava Bat Harav Simcha ben Yamin. His brother Tzvi Aaron Zev ben Harav Simcha ben Yamin. His father Harav Simcha ben Yamin ben Harav Yosef Yitzchak. And her mother Sosa Bat Choiner. We also have a day of learning today is the 9th, right? By Martin and Sandra Fish in memory of his father, Yosef ben Aryeh Ley. Okay, on Shabbos, okay, just to announce in advance, we have a day of learning by Phyllis and Neil Missel in memory of their friend and teacher, Rabbi Dr. Ron Bronner, Rabbi Yerachmiel ben Shmuel Yosef. And Shamas have an aliyah, crank Rafir, Velti Yeshir Shem Latzliah, Hoban Israel, a good gebench John.
Amen.
Okay. All right, we are on Mem Hey. Amud Aleph, we're going to finish up the Perek, and we'll just start a little bit on Perek Chamishi. Right? Okay. So what happens? Okay, so why, according to, as we finished up, why, according to Reish Lakish, was he exempt from Maaser? Marlacha ki amre ana, the Rabbi Yosef, I was explaining it. According to Rabbi Yossi's view, ha Rabbananhi. Okay, but that implied that Reish Lakish actually held like the rabbis.
Which means you don't get the
Okay, that the 3-day.
3 days. The 3-day bump.
3-day.
And that hefker is immediately called.
Right. Okay. So that's where we end. So Gemara, we're picking up on Mem Hey. Okay. Now the Gemara wants to ask, Ibayat Ema. Perhaps I want to say as follows, that both brightas are according to Rabbi Yossi. The afkare ba'anfe tarin. Maybe we're going to say the situation occurred where he only declared the item, the land, hefker in front of 2 people. And we're going to see that's problematic, right? Vaha, but here in the example, the other Braita where we talked about the vineyard, the afkare ba'ape tzlata, where there he made it hefker in front of 3 people. And when it's declared in front of 3, exactly, it's there in that case, it's very clear that that's recognized as public in front of 3 people. Da'amar Rabbi Yochanan, as Rabbi Yochanan says, Mishum Rabbi Shimon ben Yehotzedek, in his name, Kol hamafkir bifnei shlosha, whoever makes something ownerless in front of 3, have hefker, then it is indeed, I'm going to say, considered ownerless. All right? And the implication would be right there and there, okay, at that moment, because it's public, okay? I don't know, he's not here right now. But one of the fellows that comes on has asked about that, remember?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so, Bifnei Shnayim, if it was recited, it was announced ownerless only, I'm going to say, in front of 2, Lo have hefker, then it would not be considered hefker, okay? Now, do you want to make a comment? No? Okay. For Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, and what about his view? Amar, he would say, Devar Torah, okay, that really, he says, Rabbi Yehoshua maybe, according to a Doraita, afilu be'echad have hefker. Even if you said it, just to one person,
And
okay?
he wanted to grab it.
All right, and that individual. So therefore, we're going to ask the question, which makes sense. If you're going to say you can do it in front of one person, why did the Gemara bring up the issue it had to be before three? Okay, so let's go on. Afilu be'echad have hefker. Uma ta'am amru b'shalosh. So what then is the reason that we said that it needed really to be in front of three for it to be considered public? Kadei sheyehe echad zoche ushnayim me'idim. So that we could argue there in that case, one of the three could be the one who actually acquires that hefker property, and the other two would be valid witnesses
To the acquisition.
to that acquisition. Exactly.
What if he makes a deal with three friends and he declares it for the three friends, and he knows that none of the friends are gonna grab his
So he'll
property.
grab it back himself and he won't have.
So the issue will be if all three of them say, okay, all right, we're not going to grab that property. So then the question is,
Then it's subject to my son.
whoa. So then the question that I would tie in, what about the 3-day issue?
It doesn't apply.
It doesn't
according
apply.
to this shot.
Okay, and so since it doesn't apply, once it's hefker, right? Kol hazocheh, right? Anyone who comes to claim it first gets it, so he gets it.
But
Right?
other people won't know about it.
Once you say it in
just
front
the
of three,
three
that's
guys.
the equivalent.
Okay,
To everybody
but
you
else.
just
I'm saying if
missed
he
the-
made a deal
An
with the
answer
three
to the
friends,
question you asked yesterday. Okay, I mentioned, we just said it had to be three people. The Gemara, one version of the Gemara says it has to be three people, so it's public. Right, and it makes hefker.
Like he says, three friends like that, and two of the.
So they're colluding, so
So-
maybe they're collusion, so he doesn't have to pay Maser. So maybe he slipped them something. who knows?
No, if they ever got caught, they might be.
Right.
Midrabanan.
Okay, right,
But we don't. If you're gonna try, look, if you're gonna try and cheat, you'll come up with some idea that should work, and eventually they'll catch you, like they did with certain individual with a building named after him in New York.
okay. Hadranalach ein ben hamoder. Okay, so we finished this parak. All right,
More than the first 3 lines.
what?
You're gonna do more than 3
A
lines.
little bit.
Bring the value.
No, you get schar halicha, come on.
I would suggest doing the whole.
Well, we'll see. I don't know. I didn't. I'm busy at home a little bit too.
You want me to- I'll do it.
No, huh? We'll see. Okay, we're now going to start a new parak. All right. We have an example of partners in a courtyard as we start the new parak. All right. What is the status of when one makes a vow against the other? What is the status of when they each make a vow against the other? Is there going to be a difference between that? Okay. If Reuven and I, who are ultimately going to be neighbors, going to say, Green, you can't come on the catwalk. And I say, Podolsky, you can't come on the catwalk
You're stuck in your apartment.
either. Are
No,
you
they have
stuck
a
in your
ladder
apartment?
climb at the back.
On the back window.
Yeah, it's only 2nd floor. That's it. Jump down.
Mattresses on the back.
That's another problem I'm having at home. Okay.
Mattresses on the.
No. Finding something that fits on the porch.
Uh,
Okay. We'll talk about it, Reuben. Okay.
I think that has easement. I don't think you can do that.
We'll see.
Why don't we learn the Mishnah?
Remember, the Mishnah has a basic understanding that normally the courtyard is shared property,
Correct.
right?
even if it isn't, but if you have easement, you can walk through, he can't stop.
We'll
you.
see. Let's
That's
see.
one opinion.
We'll see. We'll see.
No, it
We'll
is
see.
not.
It's never Rishus
It's a
Rabbim.
Rishus HaYachid that's jointly owned.
That's right.
It's not even a
It's-
Carmelist. It is
right.
a- with- it
It's
is
never a Rishus
HaYachid
Rabbim.
with more than
Okay,
one.
so
owner.
let's start. Hashutafin shenadru hana'a zeh mizeh. So our Mishnah starts by saying that we're dealing with a question where each of the people, each of the two people, okay, made a neder not to benefit from the other. Okay,
No, that the other can't benefit.
right? What one? They each can't benefit.
No,
One
there's a
can't benefit from one another,
I make a netter, you can't benefit from. me.
and I make a
And
neder. You
make a
can't
netter, I
benefit
can't
from me.
benefit from you,
Right.
And we own the courtyard together.
Right. So now what happens? Asurin likanes lechatzer. Just as Heshi said, they have to stay in the house. Right.
Or climb in the back.
Okay. They cannot enter the courtyard. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov Omer, he says what? Ze nichnas letoch shelo, v'ze nichnas letoch shelo. This one can enter into the area that belongs to him, and this one may enter to the area that belongs to him.
They
Okay?
own it, they have an undivided interest.
We're
in
gonna
the whole
hold on a
courtyard.
second.
Otherwise, it kind of.
So we've got the whole courtyard. Okay? Now, if the courtyard was divided up very specifically, in other words, they had property lines within the courtyard,
Then
okay.
there's no problem.
then that's not an issue, because it's then very clear that one could enter into his part, let's say, and one could enter into his part once they extend beyond the threshold. Okay? But what happens, okay, we're going to see that Rabbi Eliezer's statement, okay, is still problematic. Okay, because if the courtyard is not divided up, okay, what's this? It's owned jointly by both of them.
But there's an undivided interest.
Okay?
I own half and you own half, but it's not like I own this side and you own that side. We each have an undivided interest
Same
in
in
the whole thing.
partnerships are usually.
Correct.
Right,
That's
right,
like that. You should
right.
say usually. You don't
Okay.
have the store in
Right.
Pittsburgh and I have the store in Brooklyn.
Okay, right.
We own it. Right.
So the Mishnah goes on. Okay, now we're on Mem Vav. Okay,
Absolutely.
it's all jointly owned. Okay, and there is no clear division as to A owns one part, B owns another
Who pays the taxes on it?
part. Okay, Meshi Pipik does. Okay,
It's just like the HOA.
right?
That's
Okay,
an undivided interest.
right. Ushnehen asurin laha'amid reichayim v'tanur ulegadel tarnagolim. And both of them then are prohibited to either establish a mill or an oven or to raise
Or
chickens,
anything else.
okay,
To
well,
change the status quo.
okay, in the courtyard. So in other words, these are not necessarily, while they specify certain items, they're trying to tell us they're simply examples of the fact that no other thing can be done to indicate, therefore, that this part is A's and this part is B's. Okay, that's the point. Right? So while the Gemara, I'm sorry, while the Mishnah specified, sorry, certain items, they're also just examples. Okay,
Jointly set up a mill.
No, they can't because they're forbidden to each other.
right? They can't do anything.
Nothing, they're totally. each
No
has their
joint
other.
efforts either.
So
Right?
neither can make a change in the status quo. Because he's utilizing the other. kind of
Okay.
document. They can't do it together.
Right.
That's why they. make
That's the
together.
point.
They don't like each other.
Right. Okay, now our Mishnah goes on. Okay, what does the Mishnah want to tell us? That we started off at the outset that each one made a vow towards the other. Now the Mishnah continues. Haya echad mehen mudar hana'a mechavero. If it was such that one of them made the vow of no benefit from the other, lo yikanes lechatzer. He cannot enter the, excuse me, the courtyard. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov Omer, he says, Yachol hu lomar lo. He can say to him, L'toch sheli ani nichnas, ve'eni nichnas l'toch shelcha. I'm entering my portion, but not entering your portion.
So he sticks to his guns.
So
All right.
how there will also that they had a division, they owned it jointly.
Why? Because only one said to the other guy, you can't benefit from,
In this case, he did it on himself.
okay? Or he could have said, I will not benefit from you. Okay? If he said, if I say I won't benefit from Ruvain, Ruvain can go wherever he wants. All right? I'm the one, my vow is on the person, not on the place.
Right.
Remember, we've discussed this already. And so therefore, I am limited, but not him. Okay? So that's what's happening in this second case.
But we
Right.
make you better.
Right?
We make you sell.
Okay? So what happens, says the Mishnah? V'kofin et hanoder lemkor et chelko. And we coerce, I'm going to use the word, that person who made the vow to sell his portion
Presumably to the other guy.
to the other guy. Haya echad min hashuk moder be'echad mehen hana'a. If somebody from the outside of the courtyard, right,
Third party.
third party, says, I will not benefit from, okay,
Only one of them.
okay, be'echad mehen, with one of them, okay, hana'a, lo yikanes lechatzer. According to Tanakama in the Mishnah, that person cannot enter the courtyard whatsoever, even though the vow relates to only one of the partners. Okay?
That assumes that it's jointly owned.
But the whole Mishnah assumes it's
Right.
jointly.
That's what,
That's
that's
the
why
key.
we started that way. Partners in the courtyard. That's right. Okay? Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov Omer, Yechol lomar lo, he can say to him, in other words, the person, the third party can say,
I'm only walking.
Okay.
towards it.
all right, Yechol lomar lo, letoch shel chavercha ani nichnas, ve'eni nichnas letoch shelcha. I am walking, I'm going through on Reuven's side and not
Not
on Bree's.
touching.
But you
Okay.
can't really say that.
No,
But
that's,
again, Rabbi Eliezer is consistent.
he's
that you
consistent as you.
cannot block
The
this
view.
is almost what
Sid was trying to
say,
point out.
that you can't tamper with an easement even based on a neder, because you could say I'm skipping stones, I'm skipping Kenny's.
Yeah? Okay. We'll do a little bit more. Hamudar hana'a mechavero v'yesh lo merchatz. Okay, one who makes a vow, okay, regarding the other person.
Benefit from
Okay.
Reuben.
I'm not going to benefit from Ruvain. What happens? V'yesh lo merchatz, and he has a bathhouse there. Ubeit habad, or he has a olive press, right? Muskarin ba'ir, okay, and these items are rentable, so to speak. In other words, one can pay to use them in the city. Im yesh lo bahen tfisat yad,
He leased it out to a third party.
okay, all right,
That's the case.
okay.
Reuven owns the bathhouse, but he leased it to Zev, and Zev charges admissions. So if Ruvain retains an interest.
Okay, so we didn't get there yet, but you're right. Okay, so what happens? Okay, so he has a bathhouse or an olive press, muskarin ba'ir, and it's rented out, let's say, assume for the moment, to a third party. But what happens? Says the Mishnah continues. Im yeshlo behen tfisat yad. If he has any kind of a interest,
A retained interest.
okay, in other words, if he's going to get part of that rental money, okay, from the third party, asur, okay, it is forbidden for the person who made the vow
letter maker
to
take it.
utilize those items,
That's why
okay.
you call him a dirty Jew.
okay? Ein lo behen tfisat yad. If the person who was the owner against whom the vow was made, okay, has no interest,
No continuing.
no ongoing, right? Whatever. Okay, mutar, it is permitted. Okay.
I don't understand how you can rent something. Might as well finish the mission with one more case.
You rent an apartment for the winter.
Yeah.
The landlord rents it to you. He can't come in and say, I'm using this spare bedroom.
Okay.
Getting money from.
Yeah,
Well,
but you get a fixed, he gets a
Okay.
fixed fee for
Avi.
the year.
Avi, let me give a little difference, okay? I rent you an apartment, and the money that you pay me goes directly to the association. I don't get any money from it, okay?
No.
Well,
In
hold on a
those
second.
days, you got the rent up
I
front. for
I
the
understand that, but, okay. So the question is, do I still have an interest in that? Ideally, I do, because the interest is getting, even though I don't handle the money.
Oh, you're
It goes
completely
in.
misunderstanding.
Wait, hold on, okay? All right, hold on, okay? So okay. But the point is, in their day, things were handled
Even
differently.
today, if you get a monthly check, you do not have tvisa. You're just spreading out the annual rent or the 6-month rent. If I rent an apartment to you and I say, but during yeshiva week, my grandchildren are sleeping in the spare bedroom, that would be a tvisa. And then
I think you're being more,
that's how you have to put it in modern terms. Tvisa means that it's not totally turned
exactly. No, it means that you're going to be gaining still some benefit from the rental,
other than the rent.
All right, we'll argue about that another time.
Tvisa is I have the right to come in and store my stuff in the second bedroom.
We'll discuss that another point.
That's what it means.
Okay, let's finish up. Ha'omer lechavero, konem leveitecha, she'ani nichnas, v'sedcha, she'ani lokeach. Okay, the individual makes the vow that it's like korban, okay, for me to enter your house or to purchase your land. Okay, right? But notice what he said specifically, leveitcha, your house, your land. Then the Mishnah goes on, mate, okay, if the owner of the house, excuse me, or the owner of the land, sorry, dies, oh, shemachro la'acher, or he sells it to another, mutar, then he's permitted, okay? Because we said, by saying it's yours, the neder was towards the person, okay? Konem b'ayet zeh, she'ani nechnas, sadeh zo, she'ani lokeach. This land, this house, so the neder is against the property, right? Mate, when the person dies, o shemachro, or he sells it, la'acher, asur, it is still forbidden. Okay, so we'll come back, we'll pick up I'll pick up tomorrow the Gemara. I probably will have to go through the whole Mishnah again tomorrow too. Okay, so that's the case, right? We'll discuss Tfisat Yad more another time. With
You
balcony,
said you can't put something on the balcony.
okay. My wife wanted to put, okay, Bob? Thank you.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you.
Shabbat shalom. Okay, we got, the issue is, hold on, I gotta get out of the Zoom here.
All right.